And why not, man? It's Oklahoma, man. It's where I've been my whole career. It's a place that I love. Obviously it was a very tough decision. I think, the heart wanted to stay here. At the end of the day, you can't turn that down. The pen was to the paper, and it just didn't feel right. I wasn't ready to leave this program. All that we built, going into year 3 with Coach Venables, I wasn't ready to leave just yet.
Can you talk about just the last week of thinking you might leave and then saying you're going to come back? Like, take us through that process.
Yeah, it was a headache, man. It was probably one of the most stressful weeks of my life. I was pretty much like fully committed to, they already cleaned out my locker. Everything was ready to go. And, Coach V called me on Friday, really just, sat down and talked it through with him again. And like I said before, just didn't feel like I was ready to leave yet. Didn't want to rush that. You never have this time to go back to college. And I really just want to finish out my senior year and everything that comes with that.
I know how much you love Coach Venables. How much did that conversation have to do with you being back?
I mean, quite a bit. Coach V's, invested so much into me. He's given me so much. I think it's the least I can do is come back for one more season.
How tough was that first conversation you had with him when you told him that you were thinking about leaving?
I mean, when I first talked to him, I told him I was fully decided. If you're talking to Coach V, you can't really have any doubt because he's going to talk to you for hours and try and convince you to stay. So I knew when I called him that first time I had to be 100% committed. And, he gave me his spiel, and I said, look, Coach, this is what's best for my family. And, he had my back 100%. He's like, if that's really what you think, I'm going to support you no matter what. You've done so much for this university. You've given so much to the University of Oklahoma. And, obviously that didn't stick. So we talked again, and, it was on his mind. He wanted to reach back out, and I'm glad he did.
When you're going through that process, what kind of draft feedback did you get back?
I mean, I haven't got my grade back. It wasn't really about, where I was going to get drafted. I know I can compete, at that level. If it was for money, I would have left, man. But I love the university, and it's much more money, man. It was all about being with my guys, being with the team, and putting on that jersey one more time.
How much?
Go ahead.
How much did just the opportunity to play in the SEC for a year and get that on your belt kind of play into that decision too?
I mean, quite a bit. We're going to be playing against the best, man. I'm excited for that, man. All those games, I can't wait to get announced Wednesday. I'm excited for that, man. Looking forward to it.
Talk about, the social media posts with Boz. I know you and Brian have become very close. He's talked about how much he really enjoys watching you play and how he's gotten to know you and everything. But talk about that video and how it got put together and how much fun that had to be for you.
Yeah, that video was in the works for a while. It was going to be, late season Bud Kiss campaign, but obviously we had to reuse some footage, so we took advantage of that. For everyone that was saying that I took the weekend to shoot that video is not true. The weekend was very tough for me. I was, kind of locked up in my room, just had the phone down, just thinking and praying. But Boz has been amazing, man. Just for him to go out, we shot that video, and it was a great experience. Everything that has going into it. I got some cool pics from finna release right after this, so it was a great experience.
Now that's Barry's fur coat, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was. There's some lore behind that jacket. It was the same fur coat, the mink fur coat that Barry Switzer wore when he recruited the Boz, went to his high school, and yelled at him. So the Boz had to make a few phone calls, and it's a nice jacket. I might have to get myself one.
Did you have to give it back immediately?
Yeah, I couldn't keep it. Took a few pictures, and he made sure he was that was coming back with him.
Was the Corvette part of the deal? Do you get it?
The Corvette was not part of the deal. Hey, but I'll start putting money in the bank to maybe get one day.
When Billy made his announcement, did that play anything into your decision at all?
200%. Me and Billy came in here together. We've done everything together, and we really tried to build this defense together. When he said he was coming back, we were talking right after the TCU game. Everything that we've done, we wanted to do it together. And, when I kind of wanted to leave and he said he was staying, it kind of, yes, it did sway my decision for sure.
I think you two, Jalil and Ethan, are the last guys standing from that 21 class.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean just for you four to come back and kind of lead this program into the SEC next year?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this ever since we got on campus. Our times now, it's crazy with the transfer portal, the turnaround. I think we're probably the only four that have probably played. There's a few other guys, Isaiah Coe and JK, that have played in the Alamo Bowl. But, that was only 2 years ago. So a lot of guys haven't experienced, what San Antonio's like. I'm really excited to have the opportunity.
Transfer portal's nothing new, but you guys do have guys coming in and out, like today with Caden.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that inside the locker room? Do you guys talk about that any?
I mean, people kind of talk about the money aspect. I think, how it is right now is insane, with everything that's going on. I don't think it's, you guys know how it is. It's crazy. It's turning into like a full business, which is insane. Obviously, I think some stuff's going to have to happen. But, I mean, everyone's happy for each other. When a guy enters the portal and wants a better opportunity somewhere else, I mean, there's nothing you can do. We all love each other on this field. We're not going to bash a teammate. At the end of the day, we break it down in family every single time.
Danny, you're a great Dan, you're a great player, but coming back, obviously you're coming back to get better too. When you look at yourself, what do you see as yourself as a player?
I feel like I've always scratched the surface. Only with 2 years under Coach Venables, I've improved so much, but I still have such a long ways to go. I mean, I talk with that with Coach V. If I'm coming back, I'm going to want to take this lightly. There's still so much I have to do, and I only have 1 more year to do it.
You talked about that first conversation with Brent. What was the conversation like when you told him you were officially coming back?
Yeah, so I talked to him on Friday. I kind of sat down, made that decision, and then my dad talked to him first on, I think, Sunday night, and obviously Coach Venables was very ecstatic, and then he called me back like 10 minutes later, said he had chill bumps for a while, and it was very, very easy. That was probably an easier conversation we've had, and then I told Coach Roof after I released the video, because he's a happy birthday to him, turned 60, but so he didn't get the news till after, but it was a great little birthday present for him.
Did he already hear, obviously, when Brent came along? Going through this process, get to see Brent the recruiter come out a little bit with you?
Maybe a little bit, but I kind of know where his heart was at. He didn't really have to sell me on anything. Everything he told me I already knew. It was just a matter of what was best for me.
What do you think this does for the defense, you and Billy coming back?
I think it gives it a great foundation, between me, Billy, and Ethan. Those are veteran guys at all 3 levels of that defense. Really have a lot of experience, a lot of play time that can help lead the younger guys that are coming in, and the guys that have already been here establish themselves.
Danny, getting back out here, actually putting the uniform back on, practicing, did it kind of make you feel like, yeah, this was the right decision?
Absolutely. Being out with my guys, going through, another practice, having those team separate periods with everyone, kind of getting back into it was a great experience, man. I love it out here. I couldn't leave just yet.
Hey, did the equipment guys have your stuff in the back room somewhere? I mean, did they have it when you told them to put it back?
Well, I came into my locker room after my final, and I see my katana just in the middle of the floor, and I was like, what is this? Like, this stays in my locker. And I was a little upset. I had some nice shoes, and all my stuff was in a trash bag. I was like, this is ridiculous. I didn't even release anything before I said I was leaving. They cut me off the red card. My fingerprint didn't work, and I was a little upset. I told Coach V I just need the weekend, and then they took it and ran and cut me off everything.
Tough place.
Yeah, they're quick to replace you around here, man. It is how it is. It's just a business.
I'm glad you got all that stuff back. Hopefully you got some new stuff, maybe, right?
Yeah, well, I had to get new gloves. I found my old cleats, but it's great to be back.
Danny, what have you seen from Jackson Arnold just throughout spring, the season, everything that makes you feel like, yeah, he's going to be the guy of the future?
His elite ball placement, elite instincts. You see at the BYU game when he made that adjustment to Jaleel for that, that pass that was critical, that literally sealed the game off. He's a competitor, man. His instincts are second to none, and he's a great player. We already know what he does. We've seen the film. He's a great leader. He's going to step into that role starting, with this bowl game, which is a great opportunity for him. There's no one better I'd like to lead this team.
And he's ready?
Absolutely.
I know it's the offensive side of the ball, but with Joe John seeing an elevated role, with Seth Luttrell seeing an elevated role, what has been maybe your reaction to that?
Extremely happy. I haven't really seen too much of Coach Seth Luttrell, but I know Joe John, since he's always coached me in special teams. He's a great coach, great leader, great family man, and there's no one better I'd see for that role.
Danny, leadership is such a big deal. You and Billy being back and Ethan on defense, that sets that up. It's going to be all new on the offensive side. You worried about that, or do you feel like Jackson would just step into that role, or somebody else?
Jackson, like I said before, he's a great leader. He's going to fit right in. I think he can lead even better than Dylan did. It's just who he is.
What do you think of Sooner Nation's reaction to your video and how much they were just eating it up?
I kind of knew I was going to get a pretty good response. I kind of had to throw a little smoke screen out there with the locker, which was genuine. I saw my locker getting cleaned out. I was a little sad, and I was listening to the ref, and I was like, and he literally said, like, I know he's sitting back and laughing, which I was. You guys fell for the bait just how I wanted it, so I kind of got you guys on that.